Listen, man, I need to clear this up right now. You're not getting played because you're missing something or because you're somehow less than. The truth is, you've been showing up with your head, using logic and reason, in a game that's actually run mostly by feelings and emotion. Women don't navigate relationships like a math problem to be solved. They move through them emotionally, intuitively, and often unpredictably. You've been trying to stay steady and consistent, but her feelings shift like the wind, sometimes gently, sometimes wildly, and often without any warning or explanation. That doesn't make her manipulative or a villain. It just means she's human, she's emotional, and that's part of how she experiences the world. Most guys don't realize that expecting consistency from someone whose emotions are constantly changing is like trying to hold water in your hands. It's not about her playing games or testing you. It's about understanding that her emotional world is fluid, and if you keep showing up with pure logic, you'll always be one step behind. But here's the golden key most guys never get. Women live first in their feelings and only secondarily in their logic. When you truly grasp that, everything changes. You stop chasing every shift in mood, you stop reacting to every emotional tide, and instead, you start controlling the whole game by mastering yourself first. You become the man who protects his peace no matter what mood swings come your way. The man she can't forget because he's steady, unshakable, and calm in the chaos. You stop being a player in her emotional storms and become the anchor she didn't even realize she was looking for. This isn't about losing your emotions or becoming cold. It's about leading with emotional intelligence and strength. So buckle up, because I'm about to hand you the emotional map that most guys never get. One that will change how you show up forever, how you hold your ground, and how you become the kind of man who commands respect and peace, no matter what comes your way. Point 1. She feels first, thinks second, if she even thinks at all. This is one of the most important truths you need to understand, so listen carefully. Too many guys come into relationships expecting women to operate like they do, processing everything logically, weighing facts, and making decisions based on clear reasoning. But that's not how most women experience the world of emotions and relationships. For many women, feelings come first, immediate, powerful, and sometimes overwhelming. The rational explanations, the justifications, or any so-called thought process often come after the fact, or they may not even fully form at all. Think about this for a second. At 1 p.m., she's telling you she loves you deeply, pouring her heart out with passion and connection. Then, by 9 p.m., something shifts. She's distant, cold, maybe even annoyed or frustrated, and suddenly you're left standing there, confused, wondering what changed, what you did wrong, or why she seems so different. The truth is, it's rarely about you. It's not about manipulation, games, or lies. It's about how her emotions ebb and flow like the tides, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, often without clear explanation. Women's emotions are fluid and dynamic, moving swiftly from one feeling to another. They don't always follow a logical script, and trying to apply logic to emotional shifts is like trying to catch the wind. The key isn't to figure out every twist and turn, but to accept that this emotional movement is part of who she is. She's being genuine in each moment, even if her feelings look different from hour to hour. What separates the men who get played from the men who lead is understanding this deeply. Instead of chasing after every change or scrambling to fix what seems like unpredictability, learn to watch the bigger picture. Observe her patterns over time. That's where clarity lies. And more importantly, build your own foundation of calm and strength so that her emotional storms don't destabilize you. Respect her feelings as real and valid, but don't let them pull you into chaos or confusion. When you learn to honor her emotions without losing yourself, you become unshakable. You stop reacting, stop chasing, and start leading. That balance, holding steady while she moves through her feelings, is the key that most guys never find. It's what makes you different, the kind of man she can't forget because you protect your peace no matter what mood swings come your way. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing, but I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. Point 2. Distance makes her curious. Your constant texting kills attraction. This is a tough truth most guys never fully grasp, so listen closely. When a woman starts pulling away or going quiet, the natural reaction for many men is to chase harder, bombarding her phone with texts like, "Are you okay? Did I mess up? I really care about you." But here's the brutal reality. That kind of desperate chasing doesn't bring her closer. It pushes her further away. Every extra message you send is like tightening a leash. It signals that you're dependent, that she's got control over your emotions, and that desperation kills attraction dead. Instead of flooding her with words and questions, flip the script. When she pulls back, you pull back even more, but not with drama or anger. Do it with calm confidence. Disappear from her radar for a bit and immerse yourself in your own life. Focus on your goals, your passions, your friends. Live fully and unapologetically without obsessing over why she's silent or distant. This absence isn't a defeat, it's a power move. That quiet space you create becomes a loud message to her subconscious. It tells her, "Hey, you're not the only one here. I'm valuable and whole without your constant attention." Suddenly, instead of feeling pressure, she starts feeling intrigue. She finds herself checking your socials, wondering what you're doing, questioning what she's feeling and why. That distance breaks her emotional autopilot. It makes her stop and really feel the pull again. Curiosity is the spark that reignites attraction. You don't want her feeling smothered or overwhelmed by your neediness. You want her intrigued, wondering, drawn toward the mystery of your absence. Mastering this balance of presence and distance is how you flip the script from being chased to being chased. Point 3. She doesn't trust your words, she trusts your calm under pressure. This is a massive game changer, so pay close attention. You could say, "I love you 1,000 times, promise her the world, swear you'll never leave." But if every time she acts distant, upset, or unpredictable, you lose your cool, get defensive, or become emotionally reactive, all those words become meaningless. Trust isn't built on fancy declarations or sweet talk. It's built on consistent emotional stability and how you handle the tough moments. Women test men, sometimes subtly, sometimes not so subtly. And it's not about catching you out, but about measuring your strength. When she pushes your buttons or creates drama, your response is everything. If you stay patient, calm and grounded, even when the storm rages around you, that's when she stops seeing you as just a guy with pretty words and starts seeing you as a man she can genuinely rely on. Women crave safety above all else, and safety doesn't come from passion or high drama. It comes from predictability, emotional control, and being an unshakable anchor when emotions run wild. When you consistently show up with that kind of steady calmness, she feels protected and secure. That deep sense of safety builds a connection that's far stronger and more lasting than any promise you could make with words alone. You become her rock, the one constant in a sea of shifting feelings, and that's when respect and real love grow. Calm under pressure isn't just attractive, it's powerful. It's what separates the men who get played from the men who lead. Point 4. Don't match her mood swings. Be the calm balance she needs. This is one of the biggest mistakes guys make, and it's a subtle trap that pulls a lot of men into emotional chaos. Too often, guys think emotional connection means matching her feelings. If she's upset, you get upset. If she's distant, you panic and chase harder. If she's emotional and stormy, you dive into the drama with her. But here's the hard truth. Matching her mood swings only adds fuel to the fire. It escalates tension, confusion, and distance. Instead, what she really needs is something far rarer and more powerful. Stability. She needs a man who is steady and grounded regardless of how unpredictable or intense her emotions become. Imagine her as the storm, wild, shifting, and sometimes overwhelming, and you as the solid earth beneath, unmoved, firm, and reliable. When the wind blows hard and the rain pours, the ground remains stable and secure. That's the energy she's craving, even if she can't put it into words. Being that calm balance means developing emotional maturity. It means not reacting impulsively or letting her mood swings dictate your state of mind. It means maintaining your composure when she's spinning out, offering patience instead of impatience, understanding instead of frustration, and presence instead of avoidance. It's about being a refuge, a place where she feels safe enough to let down her walls because she knows you won't crumble or disappear. This kind of emotional security is magnetic. When you meet her emotional highs and lows with calm assurance, you create a deep sense of trust. She starts to feel grounded, connected, and truly understood, not because you mirror her chaos, but because you provide the peace and strength she's longing for. That peace isn't weakness. It's a rare form of strength that stands out in a world full of drama and instability. Most men don't offer this kind of energy, which is why it's so unforgettable. When you consistently embody calmness and balance, you become the man she turns to when everything else feels overwhelming. You become the anchor in her emotional storms, and once she experiences that kind of steady presence, it's hard for her to walk away because what you offer is real, rare, and deeply needed. Point 5. Her words might sound sweet, but her patterns tell the real story. This one is absolutely crucial, so pay close attention. Anyone can say the right things. Lines like, "You're different from anyone else," "I want something serious with you," or "I really respect you." These words can sound convincing, even heartwarming, but here's the truth no one wants to admit. Words are cheap. They're easy to say, but incredibly easy to say without meaning. What really matters is what she does consistently, especially when she thinks no one's paying attention or when she's not trying to impress you. Patterns, her repeated behaviors over time, are the real language of truth in relationships. If she talks about commitment but repeatedly flakes when it's time to show up or invest, that's her actual message, louder than any sweet talk. If she says she respects you, but continues crossing your boundaries again and again, that's who she really is underneath all the promises. You can't afford to get distracted by smooth words or flattering declarations. You need to study her actions like a scientist watching for clues. This is not about playing detective to catch her in a lie. It's about protecting your own peace and sanity. Because if you keep ignoring the pattern, you're setting yourself up for frustration, heartbreak, and wasted time chasing someone who isn't on the same page. When you start valuing behavior over words, you develop a clear filter, something that lets you see the relationship for what it truly is instead of what you hope it to be. Point 6. Real masculinity isn't loud or aggressive. It's steady, grounded, and solid. There's a constant flood of noise out there telling guys they need to be alpha, dominate every situation, be aggressive 24/7, and prove their worth through bravado. But here's the real deal. True masculinity runs much deeper than that. It's not about how loud you can be or how aggressively you push your way through life. In fact, the guy who feels the need to shout to get noticed, that's insecurity talking. The one who's always flexing, showing off, or trying to dominate every conversation. Often that's a mask for fear. The fear of being invisible, overlooked, or not enough. Now, contrast that with the man who walks into a room with calm confidence, steady eyes, and unshakable presence. He doesn't need to raise his voice or make a scene. He commands respect simply by being grounded in himself. That kind of man doesn't demand attention. He naturally earns it. Women feel this energy immediately. Sure, flashy, loud guys might catch their eye for a moment. They're fun, exciting, unpredictable. But when it comes to trust and commitment, women consistently lean toward the man who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He's secure, self-assured, and steady, a rock in the shifting sands of life. If you want to be that man, the one she remembers and respects, you don't need big words or flashy moves. What you need is to hold your peace firmly, control your emotions even when things get heated, and let your silent presence do the talking. In today's chaotic, noisy world, it's that calm, solid foundation that stands out the most. That steady energy says, I'm here, I'm reliable, I'm unshakable. And that's what truly makes you different, and what makes her want to stay. Point 7. She's testing you, not playing you. Let me clear this up once and for all. When she tests you, it's rarely some sneaky game designed to mess with your mind. More often, it's her way of figuring out if you're the real deal, the kind of man who can handle her whole self, the good and the complicated, without losing his footing. Women want to see if you can hold steady through the storms, the mood swings, the insecurities, the unpredictable moments when she's not at her best. When she throws attitude, pulls away, or says things to provoke a reaction, she's not trying to manipulate or control you. She's quietly probing your strength, your emotional stability, and your authenticity. If you respond by cracking, getting defensive, or losing your cool, she'll start doubting if you're truly the one she can count on. But if you stay calm, composed, and unshaken, if you stand firm without flinching, she feels it deeply. That steady presence speaks louder than any words. It tells her you're different, solid, real, and trustworthy. Now here's where it all ties together. You stop getting played the moment you stop chasing chaos and start choosing peace. Most guys fall into the trap of accepting drama, confusion, and mixed signals as the status quo. They try to prove their worth to someone who's constantly shifting the goalposts, keeping them off balance. But the real power move is when you stop trying to win her back and start winning yourself back. You stop texting when you aren't being respected. You stop explaining yourself when your words are ignored. You stop sticking around in situations that bring anxiety or unrest, and you begin moving toward your own peace, your own stability. When she sees you no longer reacting to her emotional pull, when she realizes her games no longer control your world, two things happen. She either steps up and meets your calm strength, or she fades out. Either way, you win. Not because you won her, but because you never lost yourself in the first place. You don't have to be the richest guy in the room, the best looking, or the loudest alpha to command respect and connection. Real power is quiet, steady, and grounded in peace. That's the kind of man who becomes unforgettable and unplayable. When you hold that space, no emotional test, no mood swing, no drama can shake you, and that's the shift that changes everything. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.